Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the stream. Hello there. Let me put Mark's audio on. You know how it goes by now. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Great time tonight, Wednesday night. We've got loads of great drone news stories. Something to perk everybody up, whether you're on lockdown or not. You know what I mean. Down there, I've got it right this time. Is my good friend and enemy, Centroid, aka Mark. His channel is linked in the stream description down below. Please check him out. And I will give a quick heads up right away. This Saturday we've got an interview coming up with DGN Films. Dennis is really good filmography, film guy. Really good. Going to have an interview with him, talk through some of his videos and channels that he likes and stuff like that, his filming methods. Awesome stuff coming right up this Saturday. That's on Mark's channel, so subscribe to him if you haven't already. That's 10 PM UK time, 5 PM Eastern time. That's going to be a good show, that one, Mark. I know it already.
I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting.
Yes, I just thought I'd put that out there right away. Okay, so yes, welcome to the stream, everybody. Tonight we have Kathleen Chiren, that's Mark's lovely wife, in the chat. I'm pointing the wrong direction, obviously. When I'm looking at it on the screen, it's mirrored. It's over that side right there. As well. So Lauren Amy is in the chat. She's sat that side. That's my lovely wife. A little bit salty tonight, but all right.
Oh, shots fired, and not even in Eagles' direction.
No, don't hit me. Yeah, Lauren Amy is sat right there, so feel free to say hello there. Rattle Trap Fishing, hello, buddy. Thank you for joining us. Joe Marty says he got here for the start of the groovy tunes. That's lovely stuff. Eagle VP is in the chat. Hello there, Keith. I was just winding you up in the chat, mate. You know, it's just sort of a bit of a joke we've got on the go at the minute. That I always rip Eagle, but he is a damn fine gentleman. And I don't know, I just keep apologising to him lately because I always say something like out of touch on the stream and insult him
I finally understand his question. He goes, who's that with you, Mark? I think he's referring to you, Steve, in your new look.
Yes. I've found the charger. Lauren found the charger for the clippers. And as you know, last stream on Saturday night, before I found the charger, I had just enough battery to do the beard. And I had that thatch. My hair was just like, it looked like a terrible wig. And since then, I found my clippers and sorted it out. So, yes, welcome to.
We do have the haircut recorded too. By the
welcome to Trimmed Me. Okay.
So when do we show the video, Steve? When do we show the haircut?
Oh yeah, I forgot you had that footage. Literally straight after the stream, I was like, "This hair's doing my head," and I realised how terrible I look.
I hit record.
It's time to get rid of the hair, and hopefully the clippers have enough battery. I got about halfway through with big tufts everywhere, and the clippers ran out of battery. And then a frantic search for the charger began. So, yeah. And when you push like that, you will find things. Trust me, you will. Okay. Karel Barassa, hello there. Thank you for joining us. Eagle VP says he tried another stream earlier through OBS, but he kept dropping frames, so went over to StreamYards, did not have any problems.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is between StreamYards and regular OBS. It's I think it's a scaled down version of regular OBS. Is that true?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not entirely. I've never used it, to be fair.
No, neither have I.
Yeah. Okay. Eagle VP. Wow, who's that with you? Yeah. All right, Eagle. Eagle's gonna get his 2 pence worth in now. Flyer FPV says hello. I'm back. Welcome to the stream on this brilliant Wednesday night. DGN Films is in the chat. I was just bigging up the stream for Saturday night on Mark's channel. We're going to be interviewing DGN Films is on the chat on the right hand side of your screen there. Awesome dude, and I'm sure we're going to have a great time with him on Saturday night.
You provided us with an amazing promo. I'm thoroughly impressed with it. Yes, it's wonderful.
And I'm tempted to show that promo right away, to be fair, because
he deserves a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, he does deserve the credit as well. So if you haven't subbed to DGM Films, please do. He has great videos, and they're all extremely high spec, professional level videos, short films. He does music tracks as well on there, and I'm about to play his promo in a minute for the stream on Saturday because that came out of nowhere. I wasn't even expecting that, mate. That
I know.
really,
What a pleasure.
Yeah, Dad Random, hello there. I hope you're well. Yeah, I think I'll show that right away because that is extremely good. So let me just... Hopefully all works for this, and the audio should come through fine as well.
Yeah, the audio definitely. You can make sure of that. Ooh, it's impressive. Nicely done. Very professional. Oh, he says don't play the music. It's not his, Steve.
Okay, I won't play the music. But it's very good. This is a few clips from his videos, and yeah, I won't play too much because obviously you want the views on you want the views on your channel, of course. But you know, please go check that video. I'm going to put that link in the chat.
Oh.
Yeah, the promo's amazing.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. So please go check that video out and his other videos as well. Extremely good short films and music tracks. And like I say, the interview with him's this Saturday on Mark's channel, and I could not be more excited. Yeah, really, really good. There we go. I'm just letting it play through. See, I've already got my like on that. I was first to comment as well. And I'll also, I'll wear my DGM Films hoodie as well. Of course. Yes. One of only two, apparently.
Oh, that bit was sick.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So that's the promo. Dennis came up with that. Well, he sent me the link to it earlier, and I was like, "Wow, that's a good promo right there."
My wife said, "Should she be afraid?" No, Kathy, you should be fine.
Yes. And Kathy, I trust you enough. You have a blue wrench. I don't know whether you know what that means or not, but that means that you've got like moderator privileges in the chat. No one can like delete your comments, and if a troll comes in, it means you can delete their comments basically.
Yes, you gave her that kind of power.
Yes, unlimited power. Yeah. So DJM Film says, "I don't want to get you into trouble, mate." Yeah, I just wanted to show you promo, mate, on there because that's good. That's an excellent promo right there. Excellent stuff. So, Mark.
Yes.
Mark. We
Yes,
haven't
I have
spoken about
stories,
the hen
Steve.
for a while. I will just say there, you know, clucks in the chat for the hen real quick. Just put a cluck in the chat there for hen Karen, not to get mixed up with any other channels or anything like that. That was not our intention, honestly. Yeah. Okay. Right. Awesome. Let me take a breather. I'm getting stoked about this interview on Saturday. I'm getting carried away. Okie dokie. Right, Mark. Do you have some drone news stories for tonight? We're 8 minutes in and we've talked nothing of drone news yet.
Yes, I have at least one story.
Oh, good. Good. That's always good. And I thought, you know, that drone news stories would be very thin on the ground. But luckily, there's still stuff going on in the drone world.
Yes, there is.
And that's very surprising. And most of the stories are quite short that I've got tonight, but they're very good, uplifting stories. So that's good. Because that's kind of what we all need at the minute, if I'm honest.
Yep.
Okay. Right, I'll start off then, Mike.
Okay, sounds good.
So right here then we have an article from theindependent.co.uk, and I will paste the link to this in the chat. And I am going to play the video in little bit by little bit, you know, because I don't want to get a copyright strike. I won't be playing the audio or anything like that. But if I do it little bit by little bit, like on that much of the screen, as we commentate over it, then that's transformative content. Right? So, yeah. Hopefully. I hope so. Okay, so I'll read the article here. Incredible drone footage captures moment hundreds of revelers dance in isolation disco. So I don't know if many of you have heard about this, but obviously while there's been a lockdown on the go, there's been a lot of like balcony raves
in Italy
and block parties and things like that where people are on the balconies There's been one in Amsterdam as well where there's someone with like an epic speaker setup on the balcony or whatever, and they're just having an absolute rave on the balconies, and everyone's loving it. Obviously, not getting too close to each other or anything like that, but they're all out in force, loving life. So I'll show a bit of this footage, and then I'll read the article for it. There we go. I'm just trying to hit play on this. There we go. So this is a drone that's captured this, and let me try and zoom out for that. There we go. That should help. Look at that for a party.
Where's that?
That's in Newcastle.
Oh, we need to go to Newcastle.
Why, aye, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're loving it. And they look like really nice apartments as well.
They do. Well lit up.
Yeah, there we go. And I want to try. I want to try and catch that before it auto plays anything. Yeah, there we go. So this incredible drone footage captures the moment hundreds of revelers in Newcastle danced together in an isolation disco during the coronavirus lockdown. Residents living in South Quay flats in Long Row, South Shields, and their neighbours in Smithstock threw the impromptu party to cheer themselves up on the 28th of March. During one of the parties, Billy Bone, 35, flew a drone out of his kitchen window to film partygoers dancing away in the flats. Mr. Bone, who runs aerial drone photography company Above the Action, said, "It was the first weekend of lockdown and we were bored in the house. I looked out of our window and saw that everyone across the water was having a party other than us." Mr. Bone, who was in lockdown with his girlfriend, Rebecca Turnbull, 31, added, "It's gone mad. The isolation disco was started by two guys, Scott and Graham, who live in the opposite apartment block, and now they've got people in Australia wanting to join in next time they have a disco. Party-loving residents plan to have 3 discos a week during the coronavirus lockdown." 3 discos a week?
Why not?
Wow. Yeah, they'll be flying in substances with drones next.
What do you mean by that? I don't get it.
Illicit substances.
As in, I'm just kidding.
You're winding me up. Yeah. So yeah, I will just play that clip again real quick. Look at how amazing that looks.
I actually want to be there right now.
That looks awesome, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Doesn't that kind of go against the whole social distancing thing, though?
No, because they're all in different apartments.
Oh, okay. But
yeah.
Oh,
and
so
if you put the audio on, you can actually hear the music pumping
So-
out. Yeah.
so basically, the people are partying, but they're in their own separate apartments.
Yes.
They're not congregating in one special spot.
No, they're all in their own
Impressive.
areas. Yeah.
See, I don't see. I only see the small window here, so I couldn't quite. Pick it out.
Yeah, and obviously it's nighttime footage as well.
I
I'll
should have just clicked
repost
on-
that link. In
Yeah, I
the
was going
chat
to say I can open up the link in another tab to see it.
and paste that in. And I have another story similar to that, and it is extremely good. Not a block party style one, but it's other footage that I will show on stream tonight. Right, that is a nice uplifting story to start the stream. I'm doing
Yes,
my
it
best.
is.
I'm doing my breast. I'm doing my breast to cheer you all up.
My breath.
My breast. My absolute breast.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, okay. Right, Mark, over to your first story, mate. Let's have it.
Okay, well, you know what? Since you're going to do that one, let me pick this one right here. Since it's an uplifting one, here we go. Let me copy and put this link in the chat for everybody. And here's a nice, relatively uplifting story as well. It says, "A message on a drone, a TikTok, if you're familiar with that app, and a socially distant date. Here's the story behind a viral meet cute here. It says, at a time of social distance, most people's dating lives are at a standstill. Since leaving home is a health risk, digital tools like FaceTime, Zoom, and the good old-fashioned telephone have replaced our face-to-face past. Stepping in to help us meet new people and stay in touch with old friends through screens and wires alone. But that didn't stop Brooklyn, New York-based photographer Jeremy Cohen from taking a shot at connection from afar. Over the weekend, Cohen sent the modern-day equivalent of a message in a bottle. He flew a drone with his phone number from his balcony to someone on a neighboring rooftop in order to avoid breaking social distancing efforts imposed by the coronavirus. New York City currently hosts 15,000 of the world's estimated 440,000 COVID-19 cases and is under stay-at-home guidance. The result of Cohen's efforts, a long-distance date of sorts, with the meet cute and subsequent dinner, all documented over TikTok. And there's a video here that I won't play. You can always do that on your own there because I think it's from TikTok, and I don't know what the conditions are there. It says Tom Signorella, the subject of Cohen's attention. Oh, sorry, not Tom. Tori Signorella, the subject of Cohen's attention, and the mysterious young woman is now a viral drone video. Was just enjoying a Saturday on the roof of her Brunswick apartment building when it all went down, letting off a little energy in the form of dancing to an unknown audience. There were people in the direction I was facing, and I just started dancing, she told Time. I like making people laugh if I can, and I like making myself laugh too. Spotting her enthusiastic moves from afar, Cohen wondered if she was perhaps creating a TikTok dance video of her own, but it turns out that was not the case. I was doing the High School Musical. We're all in this together dance, she said, a poor rendition of it, but that's what it was supposed to be. So essentially, this guy gave this woman his phone number, and they proceeded to have a date, all because of a drone. And although he didn't break any, how shall I say, social distancing rules, I do believe it's illegal to fly your drone in New York City like that, but who cares? There's nobody down below anyway, or at least there shouldn't be.
Yes.
So, nice little story there for what we're dealing with right now, because I know I'm getting a little stir crazy myself.
Yes.
Let's see.
I'm not.
Well, I'll read this last little bit here. This is the closing caption. It says, although the drone first flew a little too far overhead, Signorella eventually was able to take down Cohen's number, which he had taped to the device. Signorella's phone died in the middle of the proceedings, so it took her an hour or so to respond. But after texting and making sure he flew the drone safely back, they ultimately set up a virtual date, sitting down at separate tables on their adjacent rooftops with a video call set up to get to know each other, despite the limitations of the city in the thrall of coronavirus. And yes, Lauren, I'm all for that as well. A nice cold pint sounds brilliant at this moment.
Or a nice
So there you go.
Jack and Coke, actually.
Oh,
Or some rum.
a nice little love story that has spiraled into control.
Where was they?
They were in New York City, Brooklyn, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
And if you know,
Okay.
Brooklyn is the epicenter. Well, an epicenter. I don't know. We have one of the largest cases in New York City. A number of cases in New York State, and particularly right there in the city. Most, per capita, I think it's one of the worst places in the United States currently. I'm in Central New York, so it doesn't affect me, but it's pretty tough down there. And and not to belabor it, I mean, it's bad enough. Let's just leave it. It's bad enough. I don't go any further. You know what? I forgot to hit enter for that. So if you want to see it, there's the link to that chat. I pasted it, but forgot to hit enter. So have a look at it. Take a look at the video, and let's all revel in the fact that these people have met each other. And who knows? Maybe this will continue after the fact, and they'll actually go on a real date. Let's keep
Blossom into something great.
Yeah. How'd you
Yes.
meet? Coronavirus.
Yes.
That'd be
maybe something good can come out of it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, right. That's a lovely story, that one.
Yeah, just a quick one there. So,
Yes. Okay.
and that's my one story, Steve.
Okay, that's your one story.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I've got at least.
You're
one
gonna
more.
get carried through this stream like I carry you on bloody Robocraft. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh, here we go. Oh shit. Oh. See, Keith, you're off the hook tonight. He's not firing shots at Lauren, calling her salty. He's firing shots at me. I think Steve's
I'm on
the salty
fire
one.
tonight.
No, you're the salty one tonight, Steve.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I'll switch over to my story then. This one is more drone footage. At the minute, obviously with the lockdown and everything, there's not a lot in the way of major drone news. Obviously, a lot of companies are not even operating at the minute. This is from the Bristol Post, Bristol Live, bristolpost.co.uk, should I say. and it is eerie drone footage shows Bristol looking like a ghost town amid coronavirus lockdown. And I am going to show the video, but I'll show it in like 3 parts, you know, sort of like 20 seconds a piece. And I did have to mute the audio because it's the special ghost town playing on the video, and I know for a fact I'd get a copyright strike for that, you know. Yeah, but as you can see, the streets are empty. Bristol's quite a large city in the UK, and you know that just looks.
Isn't it a sea town thingy as well?
I'm not sure if Bristol's on the sea now. There we go. Are we at the 20-second mark? We're at the 30-second mark. Yeah, but that looks crazy. I mean, you just know that that's a big tourist hotspot right there, you know, straight away. And I know at the minute, Mark, I've seen a few articles as well of drone footage of like empty cities and empty roads and all sorts. And last week we showed the footage of LA, the highways in LA, and there was just bare, wasn't there? Nobody
absolutely
at all.
bare.
Yeah, so let me just resume the rest of that video then while we play through that. That bridge looks immense, doesn't it? That I'd love to get some footage of that. That looks really nice. Bristol City. Now, Mark, you like the Cockney rhyming slang, don't you, of Bristol cities?
I thought it was Crystal Cities.
Yeah.
We can go with Bristol Cities, though.
Yeah. Why? What did you think it was?
Well, I thought the slang was used the words Crystal Cities.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, I thought it was Bristol cities.
Oh, my God.
I think it can be Crystal as well.
Hey, it rhymes, it works.
Yeah,
So close
fair
enough.
enough. Fair enough. Yeah, so that was the article that I've posted there. I'll repaste that in the chat, even though that's the last comment I put in. You know, there we go. So please check that video out yourself. And it looks like this is from the media conglomerate who wasn't very good to me, essentially, you know what I mean, or anything like that. That is now resolved anyway. Good. So it's part of that media family. I can't really say anything else because I'm, you know, I don't really want to mess things up. It's all, the dust has settled on that front, so that's all good. Okay. Mark, over to your next story, mate. Yes.
And before I go on to this, since you're talking Cockney rhyming slang, am I correct in saying that perhaps you could do with a syrup of figs at this point in time?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, and you can shorten that down and go, look at that syrup, and everyone will know what you mean. Yeah. Well, most people in the UK would know what you mean. You go, oh, it's a bad syrup, that.
Yes. Yes, so
syrup
you're gonna
of
have to
figs.
quit.
Oh, right.
For anyone not aware, Cockney rhyming slang is like a dialect, mostly in London in the UK, where people say something and it means something completely different. Bristol cities, think of what that rhymes with, you know, and syrup of figs means wig. So if you ever see someone wearing a bad wig, feel free to point and go, "Whoa, look at that syrup!" Right there. And hopefully you don't get punched right in the face.
Or get lamped.
Yeah, get lamped. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Steve quizzes me from time to time. He makes me keep tabs with the lingo just in case.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Keep brushing up, Matt. You'll be British one day.
Yes, your conspiracy confirmed. Yes. Okay, so I posted the link in the chat. It's from The Verge, and it's actually an article that they're reporting on through, I think, Business Week or something. It says, go read this Business Week story about the downsides of DJI's drone dominance. Okay, so it says, if you've bought, flown, seen, or even thought about a drone over the last 5 years, it was likely one of DJI's quadcopters. In fact, the Chinese company has so thoroughly consumed both the consumer and commercial drone markets that its dominance is now hitting a point of limited and possibly even negative returns, according to the new feature from Bloomberg Business Week. The piece is part reflective is part reflective examination of how DJI got here, part investigation into reclusive founder and CEO Frank Wang's management style, and part appraisal of the impact that the trade war and the recent Huawei controversies had on the company. But more than anything, it's about how DJI has put itself in a position where it's becoming its own primary competition. To wit, the company's tireless drive to improve its products and lower prices has sucked so much of the profit out of the market for consumer and corporate drones that even Wang has little choice but to find expansions into cameras, robotics, and most controversially, drones sometimes used for surveillance by big companies and government bodies. As one former employee puts it, Frank has created a race to the bottom, and now he's competing against himself. So basically, they have dominated the market by marketing things so low that DJI is actually not making as big a profit as people would think. They've kind of undercut themselves to get a foothold in that, and that's why they're branching into other areas. Blake Schmidt and Ashley Vance, who reported this piece, explained that DJI's relentless product cycle and aggressive pricing have made it harder for the company to pull in a profit that one might assume. They also dug into some of the relentless tactics that DJI employed as it carved out the dominance, which reportedly included filing an online forum with negative comments from fake accounts about Ehang and another Chinese company that's working on passenger drones, and trolling YouTube videos about quadcopter company Unique. And while working with governments at the local and national level may have presented a new path to revenue, it has also led to the companies down some dark paths. And this is where it gets a little interesting because of the situation that they're in with the ability of their drones and such. Let's see here. It says, the reporters discovered DJI announced in 2017 that it agreed to provide drones to authorities in charge of the city of Xinjiang, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, where 1 million people are being held in various levels of captivity and subject to re-education by the Communist Party of China. They were also told that DJI's air traffic control style tracking technology may have sprouted from an interaction with the CCP. While it is not recommended or in most places legal, it's technically possible to fly DJI drones as high as 4 miles into the sky. Someone in China was doing exactly that, and the drone almost collided with a People's Liberation Army Air Force fighter jet, according to 2 people familiar with the incident. And here's where it gets interesting. The fighter pilot landed and was furious. He asked to check footage from a camera mounted to the plane. Remember what you were talking about, dash cams, Steve?
Yeah.
To see if it caught images of the device, which it had. The military brought the pictures to DJI and demanded to know who was flying the drone. DJI said it didn't have a database. I think that's false, with that sort of specific information, and could provide only general idea of the devices near that location, according to one of the people familiar with the matter. The government insisted that DJI create a type of air traffic control database that can identify and monitor drones flying in China, which is starting to sprout all over the world, of course. While Wang, according to former employees, isn't a big fan of the military, he created the system rather than have the government try to build it. One of their people say. DJI either denied or declined a comment on many of the claims in the story, but the parts of the report that detail the company's alleged relationship with the government are unlikely to allay the fears that those in the U.S. governments who had some federal agencies stop using DJI drones over security concerns. Either way, Schmidt and Vance I am sorry about that. I am just off today. Either way, Schmidt and Vance's new feature is sure to scratch off some of the sheen of DJI's market dominance. Go check it out. So again, they're not in a good place right now, apparently, profit-wise and government-wise, and of course, this issue is the only one that I know of where they've actually caught a drone flying near an airplane, and that was in China, granted, but this is not helping the matter. So I found that particular part of it interesting because I know, Steve, you mentioned in the past that we could easily solve some of our problems by putting dash cams in some of these planes to capture the supposed drone occurrences that we've been seeing or hearing about lately. So,
yeah, well, for one, I'd love to see the footage.
Yeah, exactly. Just because they say it's an actual drone doesn't mean it was. It could be just hearsay still.
And not just that, how do they know for a fact it was a DJI drone?
No, I mean, again, it all depends. I mean, the fighter jet, I'm assuming, had whatever its cameras on board are, whether it's capturing high quality video or not. I mean, you could probably argue that it would look like, let's say, a Phantom or maybe even an
Mavic,
Inspired
maybe.
or Mavic. It's hard to say because a lot of drones, some of them do look the same. But let's face it, something tells me if somebody owns a drone in China, it's a DJI product. Well, you
Yeah.
could probably argue that as well. I don't think you're going to see too many unique or American-made products. I mean, let's face it, DJI is a beast, and they put out a good
They
product.
are
So
the drone juggernaut, aren't they?
yeah,
And
yeah,
on
but
that article we read last week, it was, what was it? It's something like 60% of the world's drones are by DJI now.
yep. At
In
least
the
60.
world, this one
Yeah.
this one company
Yeah.
does 60% of the world's drone sales. That shows you
Yeah.
what sort of size company these guys, that they must be making some serious cash as well. But the thing is,
cool.
you've always got a problem if you base a business model on unlimited growth. That's the thing. And obviously, while people are locked down, sales are going to bottom out, aren't they? No one's going to think about
Right.
getting a drone at the minute when going out the house is sort of like, I wouldn't say scorned upon, but it's definitely sort of like,
It's not essential to put
yeah,
a drone.
yeah, it's not essential, is it? You know, yeah.
But again, this article just suggests that they fought so hard to get that 60% that it's suggesting it's hurting them now because they've marked their prices so low to get that. Their product is good. They marked it low enough to get the sales out there. Now they have to branch out. Otherwise, they can't survive just on drone sales alone, even without the coronavirus. Supposedly, if the coronavirus wasn't here, they'd be in operation. And it's kind of like whenever they tell you restaurants, they break even with the food, they make their money on the liquor. If all you're selling in these fine restaurants is food, you're likely not to survive. You make most of your money on some other product that you're pushing. And that's the case in this situation. They're probably breaking even with their commercial or their hobby drone sales. They need to make a profit with something else right now. So they're hurting. They could be hurting, according to this article, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Now, it reminds me of a story of what happened in the UK about 15 years ago, where there was what was called the Bean Wars in the UK, where tins of baked beans were being, every supermarket was claiming to have the cheapest baked beans. To a point where they went down to 9p, then they went down to 7p, right down to like 2p for a can of baked beans, to a point where one supermarket started selling tins of beans at -2p.
They were giving them away plus giving you money.
Yeah, so you get
They're
all the
paying
shopping
you to-
and then get a 2p discount for getting the beans.
What
That's
the-
how much
what's-
competition there was. They had to literally pay people to take the beans in the end, just to get that
doesn't
point
make
across,
sense, though. Yeah, Jesus.
But obviously,
Well,
people would go in for the beans, but then they'd spend money on other things. But that's the point. If you've got that competition, you've fiercely brought your own prices down. Eventually, you are going to start hating yourself in the end. You can't.
I don't know.
You can't just reduce your prices down to nothing and have a workable business model.
Now, supposedly, and I have no way to confirm this right now, but there was a point in time here in the United States, and I don't know how it works in Canada or the UK, gas sales, if you own a gas station and you sell a gallon of gas, let's say for $2, okay, right now it's like $2.19 where I am, but let's say it's $2, that apparently the gas station only makes like 4 cents each gallon. Most of it goes to the taxes and the oil companies, gas companies, whatever the case is. And that's why you'll always see the prices from one corner to the next within a penny of each other, and they're always trying to eke each other out by a penny.
Yeah.
And people rush to that because they didn't think they're making such a great deal, but unfortunately they can't go any lower. Otherwise the gas stations, the private owners of those gas stations, will lose money because they're only making like 3-4 cents a gallon supposedly.
Yeah. Well, supposedly.
Supposedly.
Yeah. So
Well,
the claim,
we
but
know the oil
obviously,
companies
yeah.
are making a fortune, whether or not the private gas station owner is making as much a profit. It sure ain't 50%, which is usually the markup of retail items like a candy bar or something like
Yeah,
that.
buy in bulk and then distribute to smaller outlets.
Yeah,
and mark
exactly.
it up. And obviously, the later somewhere opens and the more convenient it is, the more you'll pay the premium for that convenience. You know what I mean?
I mean, back in the day, gas stations only sold gas, and you could get oil or whatever for your car. Now they have to be they're completely outfitted with
Coffee
convenience
shops
stores, coffee
and
shops, candy.
goodies, news agents, everything.
Exactly. So that's where they're supposedly making their money now. So
Yeah,
Yeah, because it costs a fortune to go shopping in a petrol station.
it does. Yeah,
yeah, well, let's say you don't.
it does. It does. And the thing
Because
is
it's
that
just convenient, and because they're open
Right.
24 hours, you're like, oh, I need to get something, but the shop's shut.
Right,
Oh, I
exactly.
just got to go down to the petrol station. It's like, yeah, it's like £2 for this loaf of bread, please. It's like, what? And you
Yeah.
will pay it because you need it.
I know.
Well,
and I
exactly.
remember going to an all-night garage one time, and it was like literally £3 for a 2 litre bottle of Coke, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And that was when you'd go to a supermarket and there was £1.
Yeah.
So that
Well,
tells you, doesn't it? Yeah, I was gonna.
Well, you're paying for the
Oh, the
convenience.
only
that's
thing that's cheap usually in petrol stations is the beer deals. You can
Yeah.
usually get a good alcohol deal in a petrol
One
station.
pallet.
which is a bit ironic.
Yeah, it is. It is. Like you walk up like tinny in your hand. Oh, what beer deals you got, mate? Oh, we've got
And your
20
card
of these
keys
for
at the other.
15 quid. Oh yeah, they'll do. Yeah.
Now, here's something that's a bit off the cuff, but I just got to share it with you. If you go down south, you know they have drive-through daiquiri shops. Have you ever heard of that, Steve?
Yeah, daiquiri is a cocktail, isn't it?
Cocktail. Yeah, you drive up in your car, you ask for whatever daiquiri you want, strawberry, even margaritas frozen, and they can, in that state, only in that state, you can't get away with it in New York. They will sell you and hand you a mixed drink in a covered container, and then they hand you the straw because legally that is not an open container. So in theory, you can go and get yourself a nice big, huge daiquiri filled with rum, and you could be the only one in the car, and they hand you the drink and the straw, and that's okay. And I guess they're assuming you're going to go home and drink it.
You have it on the way home.
Yeah, exactly.
By the time you pull up, it'd only just be kicking in.
Somebody said, well, they should have that in New York. I'm like, New York's not going to fall for that, no.
No. Yeah, cops pull you over, you just pull the straw out.
Yeah, right.
It's
I just
still
want it
sealed.
covered.
The lid has not been off.
No, exactly.
And technically, I'm not lying. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Right, we've gone off topic
Moving on.
there.
Well,
I don't
as we
mind.
do sometimes.
Yeah. DGM Films is laughing about that. Yeah, Matt, that is pretty incredible that there's drive-through alcohol dispensers in.
Oh, yeah, I mean, in these same places, you can ask for 2 cases of beer and they'll put it in the trunk for you. You pay for it at the drive-through and you go up and at the window somebody comes out, you pop your trunk, they put it in they shut it, and they make it so convenient down south for sales.
Oh, dearie
The most
me.
exciting drink you get from our petrol stations is a large vanilla Costa. That's it.
Yeah, I always laugh
There's
because
no cocktails in ours.
there's like a coffee chain. I don't know if you've got them in the States, Matt, but it's called Costa. And I
Yeah,
always
no.
laugh because I call them Costa lot.
Oh,
They're not actually that expensive, but
They
if you
are
think
to
about
sit
it,
in.
if
They are
you
to
think
sit in.
about it, they are really. If you,
we have that in the States. It's called Starbucks.
yeah, if you was to make
Starbucks,
if you was
yeah.
to make that same thing yourself, 50p in there, £2.60.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well,
it
that's
is,
nothing.
but compared to other coffee places, it's cheap. But
It's
Yeah.
not to sit in. It's
not to sit
fortune.
in. No, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you can be talking £4 for a coffee.
Oh God.
£4 for a coffee. Ooh, Christ! I have to grimace. Yeah, I have to grimace because I've actually paid that myself. I don't drink coffee, but for Lauren, I've paid it.
Like
Well, that's it for
coffee, leave me alone.
We can get back to the drone stories if you'd like. I don't know. I mean,
What's that?
we can go back to the drone stories if you'd like.
Yeah, let's do
I
it.
could talk about alcohol all night if you'd like to. I'm good with either conversation.
Okay, back to the drone news. Okay, yeah. So right here, look, we've got from SUAS News. I'll copy the link and put that in the chat. Paste that in. There we go. And that is a flight base and drone logbook partner to simplify live remote drone operations. This one's quite weirdy. I'll do my best to paraphrase where possible. So Flightbase Inc. and Drone Logbook are excited to partner together to help drone operators, service providers and system integrators automate and scale their UAV operations. The growth of the global commercial drone industry, led by US-based enterprises, federal agencies and tech startups, is expected to accelerate as hardware gets commoditized. Regulators remain proactive, and intelligent software enables an increasing number of use cases. Seamless integration of hardware, software and services will power this growth. The drone ecosystem is fast maturing to provide this to enterprises who are keen to adopt UAVs to create business value. Mark, how many stories have we read about drones being incorporated into businesses to boost profits and everything? Very successfully as well.
Yes.
So Flightbase Inc. provides drone agnostic software solutions to automate and scale drone ops. The Flightbase technology platform allows easy deployment of intelligent drone fleets connected with cloud-based business applications. Flightbase offerings are compatible with major drone hardware platforms, for example DJI, Adra Pilot, PX4, and come with SDKs, simulators and APIs for a reliable testing and seamless integration. Flight-based customers range from sectors such as public safety and energy utilities to warehouse distribution centres and air cargo facilities. Drone Logbook provides the commercial drone industry with compliance software to help commercial drone operators plan and manage flights, import telemetry data, track documents and maintenance, etc., to better manage operations and maintain regulatory compliance. Drone Logbook helps drone operators easily generate compliance, FAA, CAA, CASA, and all the others there. I don't know what some of these are. Reports in seconds on demand, and also provides custom reports available to allow operations managers to track pilots' flight maintenance and etc. So there we go. So we've got all sorts there. I'm not going to read all that. I'll be out of breath reading all that. But obviously this company is basically, I'll just sort of summarise this. They've come up with software to basically manage all the drone operations into one manageable program, and basically it works with all the major drone brands and all that lot. And I think that's a step in the right direction, that, Mark, don't you?
Yeah, I do agree.
For companies, say if you're a company and you've got one guy on payroll who flies a drone, you're not going to need this software. But if you've got a whole fleet of drones who are all in the air, especially when you're using multiple drones for one job, you might need this software, especially if you're doing things like photogrammetry and all that lot, where you're sort of doing the 3D mapping of landscapes. You can use multiple drones to do that, all flying in tandem to get that done. This program will just automate the whole thing potentially. So it's a step in the right direction, but obviously we're talking now about drone swarms, aren't we, Mark? And we know all about we know all about everyone getting plagued by drone swarms outside the windows all the times. EBRFPV says, popping in, shall I not make a comment on the haircut? Yeah. I feel better for it though. It's good. I feel more hygienic. Yeah.
And I said to EBR, go head.
Oh, Mark. What are we going to do with you? Lauren Amy says she needs a large caramel latte from Starbucks. This is going to be a long lockdown. Yes, all of the major coffee shops are closed.
Not the Costas at the garages.
No, in the garage you can still get a Costa. Cost a fortune.
Yeah. Cost a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So let me know your thoughts in the chat for anybody who's in. Do you know what I mean? It's good, because I think that's a step in the right direction for big business, with loads of drones and all that lot. I'd love to have my own drone business, if I'm honest,
Oh, yeah,
a few people on payroll. I'd sit there on the phone, I'll do it, and then send someone to do it for me.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's the way, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, Mark, over to your next story, mate.
Yes, sir. Here we go. This time I'm going to make sure I hit enter There's the link to another Drone DJ story. We like to use Drone DJ, a good source of new news and relatively accurate and hopefully accurate and at least relevant. And again, we don't want to belabor the content or the concept of the coronavirus, but it says Kuala Lumpur is testing drones to sanitize high-rise buildings. It says here, Kuala Lumpur is testing drones to spray disinfectant on buildings around the city in response to the coronavirus. The drones are being considered as an option thanks to the relative ease of sending a drone up instead of manned crew that is more expensive and has a higher safety risk, of course. Dewan Bendaria, Kuala Lumpur, if I'm pronouncing that, also known as DBKL, is working with a private drone company to test and evaluate the usefulness of having drones disinfect buildings around Kuala Lumpur. So far, a 1.2 meter wide drone, that's a pretty big drone, don't you think? 1.2 meter wide drone has been spotted during one of the test runs taking place. Now, I'm going to stop reading this for a second because I think it's important to note that they are going to determine the effectiveness. I mean, this is outside. Now, I know the coronavirus can last a very long time. The metal surface is a lot less on cloth and cardboard per se, but I mean, it's outside. Do you really think? I don't know. I don't know. And if anybody in the chat wants to participate in this and say yes or no, is it really necessary to disinfect the outside of a building? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Steve?
At ground level, maybe.
Yeah, which may not require a drone, but why would you need to disinfect the 13th or the 27th floor with a drone? I don't know. Again, I don't know. This is why I was kind of curious about the article. I'm not against it. Hey, any precaution is better than nothing. But that's why I wonder. I think you got to take that with a grain of salt when they say the effectiveness. So I don't know. It says Federal Territories Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa had the following to say on the use of drones and the testing that is required before the city can scale up on drone use for disinfectant spraying. Drones are only, here's the quote, drones are only one of the options to disinfect high-rise buildings, but DBKL has to study their feasibility. Some places in the city are not suitable, especially if there are electric wires and lampposts in the vicinity, or if the weather is too windy. If it can reach the corridors of a high-rise building, it would save a lot of manpower. DBKL also needs to study if the disinfectant can reach the targeted areas. Our drones are used for agricultural spraying, but the nozzle can be customized to fit specific purposes. With a 20-minute flight time and 8 spraying nozzles, it can carry 16 liters of disinfectant. Yeah, again, interesting use. I don't know how useful. I don't know if it's necessary. I'll leave that to the professionals to determine. But again, interesting story nonetheless. And I guess anything's better than nothing at this point. So
might be peeing into the wind a little bit there.
Yeah, that's I wasn't sure how to put it, but that definitely is a good way of putting it, because it's like, I don't know if any of the virus that might exist on a 28th floor is going to affect anybody.
No, I
and
think
it's going to eventually die.
Apparently, it lasts like 12. Can last up to 12 to 24 hours on a metal surface.
Yeah, how many? 24. Yeah.
So,
EBR says just a guy that had a drone company answered the phone and said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it," and send someone to disinfect the building.
Yeah,
I mean, think about it.
Yeah,
I mean, think about it. It's from
you want your building disinfected with a drone. Well, I'm not sure how effective that'll be. We'll do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How much does it pay? I'll do it. Yeah. Would you like 2s instead? Okay.
Does she need a sandwich, Steve?
No, she wants a cigarette.
Oh, okay.
She's making demands. It's getting to that point of the stream where demands are being made.
I can keep reading my stories if you need to go make a sandwich, just saying.
No. No, not while I'm streaming. Oh, dearie me.
That's it for that story. And again, you folks determine the usefulness of this concept, but I question it.
Nice.
That's it.
Yeah, good story. Me likey. Do you have another story after that?
Yes, I do.
Oh, good. Because I'm on my last one here. Okay,
I'm sure I can carry you, Steve.
Well, it's a
I
good
had to
job we
throw
have a
that-
laugh in it.
I had to throw that one out there. You've been busting my hump
Yeah.
the last few days.
Okay. So this one is from Digital Music News, and although it doesn't look like it's very drone related, it actually is. Let me paste that into the chat. So John Mayer, who's that like famous singer-songwriter, roasts David Geffen's Isolation Humble Brag with drone shot of my yacht. Now, there is a link to that song in the article as well on Twitter. And this is his original tweet.
I don't even know who that guy is.
I'm not entirely sure who he is, but it's some rich billionaire dude. He goes, "Sunset last night, isolated in the Grenadines, avoiding the virus. I'm hoping everybody is staying safe."
Oh, what a way to
So,
do
so
it,
this
right.
rich billionaire is basically bragging that is isolated fine enough on his luxury yacht out in the Grenadines.
That's tough life.
Yeah, so earlier this week, billionaire record mogul David Geffen bragged about isolating on his 450-foot yacht in the Grenadines. Now the roasting is entering a whole new level thanks to John Mayer. David Geffen's tone-deaf humble brag featured a drone-snapped photo of his 450-foot super yacht, complete with a caption, sunset last night, isolated in the Grenadines, blah blah blah. The extremely ill-timed display of ostentatious wealth led to a swift shaming, with Geffen immediately making his Instagram account private, but that's hardly tamping out the surging flame of ridicule. Enter John Mayer, who spent the last 24 hours writing an entire song dedicated to roasting Geffen's gaffe, titled Drone Shot of My Yacht. The accompanying Instagram video features endless drone shots of Geffen's yacht against beautiful backdrops, including, of course, the Grenadines. Obviously, that's not John Mayer there. I think that's an unrelated video. For those looking for a shot of humour in these times, Mayer has definitely delivered. Drone shot of my yacht, it's all I've got. I'm all alone on the water, Mayer sings, in a catchy chorus atop an upbeat track. Awesomely, the video features one drone-snapped super yacht photo, one after another, all of which seem to be Geffen's actual boat. In quotes, "If it's stuck in my head, it might as well be stuck in yours." Here's drone shot of my yacht as featured on last night's Current Mood. Mayer relayed to his 4.9 million Instagram followers, referring to his unofficial show Current Mood. The video itself had already been viewed more than 850,000 times by Tuesday, though that number is likely to climb quickly. And if I've tried playing the clip, but I can't do it without audio, and I'm definitely not risking that. So the video is in that article there. So whether the roasting prompts any meaningful response from Geffen is unclear. As of Tuesday, it appears that Geffen has nuked his entire Instagram account, which suggests a serious retreat, but maybe Geffen is planning a philanthropic comeback, perhaps by chartering his boat towards the troubled waters of New York City and converting his yacht into a temporary hospital. Even a donation would do the trick and transform a humble brag into a memorable gesture of goodwill. Until then, let the roasting continue. Yeah, if he was like a multi-billionaire, yes, it's the way to escape. But bragging about it on the internet, come on, you've got people dying, and then there's this guy. Oh yeah, well I'll just get away on my 450-foot luxury yacht in the Grenadines. You know, yeah, screw you guys. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
You're not having any of my money either. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Even though there's like this like vast wealth divide, that's only getting worse. And in fact, a couple of years ago, even during the recession, there was record sales in the UK of luxury yachts. Mm-hmm. So it goes to show, doesn't it, that it is that wealth divide that is getting further and further apart, and this guy is obviously not thought about what is done there, while people are struggling to sometimes even get groceries, and then there's him out on his luxury yacht in some tropical paradise, living life to the maximum and bragging about it on the internet. That guy can literally go screw himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So he deserves all the internet trolling and roasting that comes to him, basically, because of that.
Why? We'd do it if we had a luxury yacht and we was
I'd do it, yeah, but I wouldn't be bragging about it on social media, would I? and I'd be taking
That's
drone
just-
shots, but I might
Exactly.
share one, but not publicly. I'd
That's
share
just-
it with like friends and family, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't be.
That's just rubbing their noses in it,
Yeah, yeah. Look
It's
at
like
you all, look at
everybody's-
you all struggling to survive. I'm okay out here.
Yeah, with
that's
my-
basically
with my-
like the undertone to the post, isn't it?
You're eating canned soup, and I'm having lobster and steak.
Thermidor. Yes. So that is linked in the chat there. So feel free. The song itself is actually right here on the article, and obviously it's linked from John Mayer's actual Instagram profile, so he will get the views for it. So don't worry about playing it on that page. If I had some way of playing that for you, I would, but I'm not even going to risk it. So check that out in the chat, which is just there. I'll repaste it anyway. There we go. Just for, I don't know, just for posterity. I'll post that in there. And Mark, I'll switch over, mate, onto your story then.
Okay, and I just put the link in the chat. This is from SUAS News, the business of drones. Title of the article is "Who's Your Drone Overlord?" And there's a little satirical overlay there. You can read that if you want, but I'm going to get right to it to stay within our time frame. It says, from time to time, folks like to alert me to stories that they believe need telling for various reasons. Sometimes it is just good old-fashioned FAA bureaucratic bungling, arbitrary favoritism, obfuscation, and your garden variety industry shenanigans. Other times it might be more severe matters like national security issues, spying, and data collection. It makes for a plethora of stories for a fella to tell. This is one of those occasions, and in this instance, the person doesn't want to be in the shoot the messenger crosshairs, so I will take this one for the home team and national security. Okay, thoughts from the reader. It says here are some facts about what's happening. Can I talk you into a quick post? He's trying to convince this guy to talk about it in his article. It says, thanks to China's underwriting of the product manufacturers like DJI and the supporting supply chain, the hobbyists can pick up a quadcopter drone $500 to $1,000 US. China's desire to dominate the drone market is well known because while hobbyists think of drones as adding cool shots to their YouTube video channel, China knows what the Department of Defense knows, that drones are data collectors. Intelligence agencies that protect us have caught the Chinese red-handed, excuse the unintended pun, harvesting data from consumers. Given the enthusiasm of the Chinese not to be undersold, most U.S. and European products have essentially become integrators and are assembling systems with Chinese manufactured companies. Upon discovery of data harvesting by the Chinese and DJI, the U.S. banned the government use of Chinese manufactured drones in 2019. We all know about that. Department of Defense received a presidential determination to establish a program under Defense Product Act Title III to establish a reliable U.S. supply chain for small unmanned aerial systems, aka drones. The challenge in creating a viable supply chain was capturing volume to drive the price down. So basically, in essence, we here in the United States didn't like the fact that the supposedly drones from DJI were harvesting data and sending it back to China. So this article was supposed to develop a market, let's say, of home-based drone manufacturing, right? So the whole idea was to not depend on DJI. Let's do this ourselves. But here's where it kind of flies in the face. It said, but instead of using the Title III program to innovate this key component for the supply chain, the Department of Defense actually asked to eliminate this key component from the Title III program. This short-sighted decision only delays the U.S. from establishing a production capability and establish a supply chain using U.S.-made materials. It delays any innovation that may occur in the design or streamlining or automating a production. There are domestic manufacturers standing by for orders. However, they cannot effectively compete with the Chinese without the billions or investment from the PRC. On a side note, aircraft certification will be hard to achieve with $3 motors. Just Forget about scaled up consumer drone UAM. So essentially, here's where we are. We wanted to develop a program where we developed our own drones. We shut it down. We're not allowed to buy DJI products. So now we're making drones with Chinese parts anyway. So it's a big mess. This is just a big mess. So I'm just cutting to the chase here. We were supposed to be able to do this. We were supposed to develop and help foster the development of drone companies here in the United States. Instead, we still can't compete with them. The money that was supposed to help this hasn't shown up. They cut it out of the program. And now essentially we're left out to dry. And now you either buy a DJI drone or you make a drone using Chinese parts because it's the only feasible way, because it's the only affordable way to compete with DJI. So aside from that, you can make a drone with Chinese parts, and you can be almost assured that the Chinese are not going to harvest data from it, but you never know. It all depends on what recording and camera devices you choose to put into it, because apparently they will not be American made. They will be Chinese made anyway. So, hey, Gary, how's it going, man? Gary joined us. Gary!
Hello, buddy. I hope you
gotta be able to do that.
Thank you for joining us.
So again, an interesting title, Who's Your Drone Overlord? At once it was DJI, then we were going to be our own overlord, and it turns out China's still the drone overlord after all of this anyway. Who are we trying to kid? End of story, Steve.
Yeah, well, just a funny point. Obviously, if you was to make a drone in, say, any country that wasn't China, we'll use the US as an example. If you was to basically use a Chinese camera, Chinese motors, Chinese circuitry, and basically maybe even the shell was made in China, at what point is that an American drone?
Well, that's it. If it walks like a duck, and if it sounds like a duck, it's a freaking duck.
It's like the old joke, isn't it? Oh, it's my favourite broom. It's had 2 new heads and 3 new handles.
Exactly.
At what point is it not the same broom, you know?
I mean, every FPV drone I made, I'd say 95% of the parts come from China. I'm still waiting on a delivery from China, which is going to be a long time since the whole situation that we have. I do know that apparently CADX, though, is a company that's actually stationed right here in Syracuse, supposedly, or at least the people who make the components inside of there. So very few parts on even FPV drones are made in the States. So
I'm not really surprised, to be fair.
China
can make things so cheap.
Well, they don't have the same regulations on work hours and labor, if I'm not mistaken, which is one of the reasons why we outsource a lot of our work here.
Yes, Lauren, good one. Yes.
And as always, I forgot to hit enter. I pasted in. There's the link to the article if you want to read it a little bit more in depth. By all means, take a gander at that and have at it. So, yes, sandwiches. I'm actually starting to get hungry. Steve, what are we having for dinner? What are you making us?
Sandwiches.
I'm making nothing. I'm sick of these sandwich requests.
So, Steve,
one sandwich.
Lauren needs a sandwich.
Yeah, but Lauren, it was brilliant. It was wonderful. We all had a good laugh on it. It was good. Perfect.
It's become like the new thing at the end of the stream, just to talk about what you need.
Well, I was up for work the next day and I was like, oh, I'm hungry, but I didn't want to interrupt your stream, so I thought, shall I wait till after the stream? I thought, no, I'm hungry now, I'll ask him now.
I'll just invade the stream with my demands.
Yeah.
I'm like, even 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Everybody's...
And then there was the glass of milk.
and Lauren, everybody's on your side on this. Even Gary just said Lauren needs a sandwich. So...
Oh dear. Yeah, so to summarise then, drone news today. Basically, America's going to start making Chinese drones. But no, made in the USA probably.
Assembled.
Yeah,
the way it would say.
DJI's got too big for its own boots, and now it's not going to make as much profit because they've basically soaked up the entire market. People are having isolation parties inside entire like blocks of flats and things.
Starting relationships via drone.
You're starting relationships via drone. And I was going to end on that story, Mark. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. A little segue there.
No, yes. So that's to summarise an hour's worth of drone news into 1 minute, right?
Now, I have a comeback for Gary's. I'm sorry, Lauren. I got to say this. This statement drives me nuts. It says "happy wife, happy life," and everybody says that. Everybody forgets about the guy, but I say "happy husband, happy home." Keep that in mind.
Grant Ariel says, "Don't buy Chinese canned lunch meat at the dollar store."
Who would?
Yeah, and stay away from gas station sushi too.
Yeah. Also, don't buy cheap tuna because it's probably mostly dolphin, right?
Oh.
I didn't just say that. Yeah. No, Lauren
There
did.
was actually a scandal going around, wasn't there, that there was actually putting dolphin in tuna.
Well, before we end the show, you didn't believe me that time when I said, honestly, you'd be surprised how much tin tuna is actually dolphin, and the ones that are actually safe, they actually pull the dolphins out and throw them back. As bad as that sounds, actually have the label on the tin saying dolphin friendly. If it doesn't have that on it, it's probably got some dolphin in there, because they literally just rake them all in and send them in for processing.
Well, there's also that scam. You familiar with the sea scallops, the really big ones? The nice, really big sea scallops?
Okay.
Have you ever had them? They're
Nope.
fantastic. But they essentially look like white pucks. They're huge, but they're flaky and they're really, really good. They're scallop. Apparently there was a scam because they're very expensive to begin with. But apparently companies were catching stingrays and other types of like eagle rays and stuff and stamping shapes of these sea scallops and selling them as if they were sea scallops at the market price. And I swear I had it once. It's awful. Right away you're not eating a scallop. So there are a lot of scams out there where they substitute what looks to be, it's like, crab-like meat when it's not really crab. It's like, you got to watch out for some of these scams out there. So
kind of like in the UK, there's like this food it used to be called a crab stick, right?
A crab stick?
Yeah, but
doesn't sound right from the jump. But go ahead.
No, they're really nice.
No, I
really
believe
nice.
you.
Yes, there was called crab sticks. They'd actually be labelled crab sticks, but they
there's
had
no
to
crab
change
in
the
it, right?
name because it wasn't. It contained no crab, so they actually renamed them to crab flavoured seafood sticks.
Now, I think we had them in the States, but they wouldn't call them crab sticks. They almost looked like a crab leg. They were tubular in shape, solid, cylindrical, and they even had a red coloring on it to look like crab.
Yeah.
I think we still have those, but we all knew that they were not real crab. I think they said crab flavored seafood. I think so. Grant Ariel confirms counterfeit fish is big business.
Yeah, I got a tongue twister in there.
Yeah.
Counterfish. Counterfishing. Yeah.
So
Lauren Amy, I'll read this comment and then we're going to end the stream. Findus Burgers was putting horse meat in their food and it tasted quite nice.
It did?
Yes, in the UK about 7 or 8 years ago, there was a giant scandal in the UK where a whole load of supermarkets and companies were selling beef products, but it wasn't beef, it was horse. Yeah, main supermarkets, beef burgers, and also Findus, a company, a big company in the UK and across Europe, I'm sure, would sell these lovely lasagnas, right? And I used to like the chili nacho ones, like a lasagna topped with nachos, and it turned out that they was horse meat. And as soon as I found that, I loved them. It was really cheap as well, £1 a pop. There was. I'd get two.
Wow.
That'd be me tea. Yeah. And as soon as I found out there was going to be recalling them, I literally rushed to the shop and bought 4 more before.
Well, I mean, some places horse meat's considered a delicacy. I mean,
In
or-
France,
and-
yeah. In
In
France,
France,
it's a
okay.
delicacy.
I think it's
Obviously.
illegal in the States to sell horse meat.
Now,
but I'm
what
not
the
100%.
problem was, in the meat, they found high levels of horse tranquilizer,
Ooh, that's the problem there. right there.
ketamine in your lasagna.
Do you reckon that's why we was falling asleep after a bolognese when we got that mint from Aldi?
Well, we laugh. No, we can't say that on stream because we might get sued for slander. But we have bought meat before, and after eating it, we felt very sleepy. and it seems to happen with the same product over and over again.
Well, that happens with us in Turkey here in the States.
The same mince every time makes us very sleepy. I don't know whether it's the portion size or whether it's got in, and I laugh at that. Oh, we're going to get some more drugged meat.
Oh Lord!
Oh dearie me. Okay, EBRFPV says they call it surimi sticks here in the Netherlands. Yeah, they are surimi sticks. Brant Ariel says we have a market that sells horse meat near here. It costs more than beef and it's popular with the Dutch. EBR, I worked in a bar where we sold horse beef. Really nice food it was. Horse beef is good food. Yeah, I love them lasagnas. Yeah. And on that note, it's time to end the stream.
I'm with you on that one,
Steve.
Steve.
Took the horse meat out, didn't they? And it just didn't taste the same, did it?
Yeah, it just
like,
didn't have the texture.
Was missing.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining us. I'm gonna link Dennis from DGN Films promotional video for Saturday. It'll only take a minute or so of your time. Please just go check that out. That's a promo for Mark's channel Saturday night, 5 p.m. Eastern time, 10 p.m. UK time. We're going to be grilling. Dennis from DGN Films is going to be talking about some of his videos, filming techniques, makeup techniques, special effects, YouTube altogether. You know what I mean? All that lot. Awesome dude, very knowledgeable as well, and it's going to be a great interview with him on Mark's channel Saturday night. Mark's channel is linked down below for anybody who hasn't subscribed to him already, and Dennis's link is just in there, DGN Films. Please check that out. Sub to him if you haven't already, because he's got great videos, and he's actually got a video that's like 700,000 views, and it is amazing, that video, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, is it the bully one?
The bullies.
Oh no.
The suicide video. Yeah.
I was in tears.
And Gary, I'm so sorry. I know that we changed our time back to the usual because Steve's the time in the UK went back. You went ahead an hour now, right? So we're back to our usual 5 and 10, 5 Eastern.
We're 5 and 10 now.
UK.
Yeah. So sorry for that mix-up. The switch happened Saturday night, straight after the stream on Saturday night.
Morning.
Basically, the clocks changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we will catch you on Saturday night. Hopefully, please join us. It's going to be a great night on Saturday. And thank you all for joining us. Stay safe. Stay hygienic. Don't go out unless you need to. Give the stream 5 minutes when we're done, Brant Ariels. Just watch it back. You know what I mean?
Sorry,
open
Gary.
up 10 different browser windows and just set it going in every single one, if you would, please. I'm going to get banned for that.
Yeah, probably.
That's against YouTube's policy. Right,
Yeah,
okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a
Take
great
care.
night, and we'll see you at the weekend. Stay safe.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Farewell. Farewell, everybody.
Peace.